The just concluded Edo State governorship election, which saw APC emerge as winner of the governorship election. In a bold display of dissent, citizens of Edo State have embarked on protests, contesting the outcome of the recent governorship election. The demonstration reflected dissatisfaction with the election's credibility and the announced results. The 2024 Edo State governorship elections was fiercely contested with 17 political parties vying for the top spot. The campaign season was marked by intense rivalry. Tensions ran high as voters cast their ballots. As the tension goes around Nigeria, Mr. Peter Obi has come out to condemn the governorship election held at Edo State over the weekend. In a post he released today on his X handle, he made it clear that what happened over the weekend in the name of election in Edo State does not in any way represent the democratic process we choose as a method of electing our political leadership. Instead, it was a blatant example of state capture and continued cross-undermining of our democratic process and values. Any nation whose leadership recruitment process is so fatally flawed is doomed, and we are all seeing the effects in our country. I urge those in authority not to allow this situation to stand or depend on it to remain in power. As a country, we have invested significantly in IReV and BVAS, and they must be allowed to function and used properly in order to free our electoral process from the massive falsification that has plagued it and worsened. To the agency and individuals being used to undermine our democracy simply because they hold positions of authority, please remember that your time in office is not eternal. The society that you are helping to destroy today will eventually take her revenge on you tomorrow. Mr. Pitobi also said to the lecturers and other complicit in perpetuating this charade, he said, "You must reflect deeply on the roles you are playing in damaging the very foundation of our democracy. The damage you are causing today will inevitably take revenge on you tomorrow and affect your children in the future." He now said that this kind of action has no place in a true democracy. That is why I have always maintained that today's politics is not about capturing power, but about saving the country and making it work for everyone, regardless of their background. I remain committed to building a new and a truly democratic Nigeria, which I insist is very much possible. This is coming from Peter Obi after the governorship election of Edo State. Now, in the same light, the PDP had a press conference and they have rejected the figures announced at the coalition center by INEC officials. They said that they are not going to accept the results announced by INEC.
Gentlemen of the press, we've called this press conference ostensibly to draw the attention of Nigerians to what we've seen and are seeing from the conduct of the governorship election conducted in Edo State on the 21st of September, 2024. The point we want to make in this press conference is drawing the attention of the INEC chairman and the commission to the massive irregularities we've noticed from our preliminary analysis of what is going on. Put clearly, you will expect that after an election is conducted, the Form EC-8A is the primary document on which results are supposed to be transmitted. Those result sheets are basically uploaded onto a platform created by INEC known as the IReV. You would expect that the figures, the summation of the figures on Form EC-8A should or ought to be the same as the ones you will get on IReV. You will also expect that the announcement by the chief returning officer for the state or by the LGA returning officer at the State Collation Center should also tally with the previous two figures because it's about the same thing. What we have noticed, once again, preliminary analysis shows that there is massive discrepancies in those three figures for nearly all the local governments in the state. And we are calling on INEC chairman and the commission itself to use that window as a provision in the electoral act that mandates INEC, that gives INEC the power to review results before they are authenticated. They're supposed to authenticate the results. So this press conference, this release is to request that INEC goes through what we are saying and do a review before the final collation and the final announcement and the final declaration of the results for the Edo State governorship election. If INEC doesn't do that, that will greatly undermine the gains we've gained these past years under the various leadership of INEC. You cannot have three different figures for the same election. It's not possible. Something is wrong. And we are saying, INEC, look at it before you make your final decision, before you make your final declaration. That's what we're saying. For specifics, Akoko Edo LGA. A simple collation of all the votes recorded in the polling unit results uploaded on the IReV shows that APC obtained 25,010 votes, while 34,847 votes was recorded on the form EC8C, that's the LGA collation result sheet declared by the LGA returning officer. Why would the figures on the IReV be different from the figures announced by the LGA returning officer? And you have seen an increase of about 10,000 votes for the APC. For the PDP, a collation of the votes from the results uploaded on the IReV is 18,620. But the figures announced by the LGA returning officer is 15,865 on the form EC8C. The question is, why will these figures be different? In Ward 9, Akoko Edo, from the 36 polling units uploaded on the IReV, the total votes obtained by APC is 2,350, while 9,104 was entered into the form EC8B, result for APC. It looks like the votes of the APC, they swell like Ijebu Gari. The total votes for PDP is 1,359, while 633 was entered into the form EC8B. You can see that while the APC's results, figures will always increase, the PDP's results will always decrease. Also, in Ward 6, Akoko Edo, elections did not hold in units 12, 17, 15, 18, 14, and 16. But will you believe that results were entered into the form EC8B? EGO, local government. A simple collation of all the votes recorded in the polling unit results uploaded on the IReV shows that the APC obtained 10,972 votes. Here, on the form EC8C, that is the SGA collation result, 16,760 was recorded by the returning officer. For the PDP, a collation of the votes from the results uploaded on the IReV is 485. But here again, that figure reduced to 14,658 on the form EC8C. And to draw your attention to the fact that SGA collation did not take place at the SGA collation center, where the Electoral Act is very clear that all election collations must take place at the ward level, at the SGA level, and there are designated addresses for all this. You cannot overnight change those addresses. It's not within the powers of INEC to unilaterally change those addresses. Esako West, SGA. A simple collation of all the votes recorded in the polling unit results uploaded on the IReV shows that the APC obtained 29,858 votes. Here again, on the form EC8C, as declared by the returning officer, 32,107 votes was recorded. For the PDP, 16,712 was recorded on the IReV. But, strangely, the figures for the PDP on the form EC8C increased from 17,483. These are just samples of the massive irregularities that we've noticed in our preliminary analysis of what's going on. I've told you earlier that these anomalies are all across the 18 local governments in the state. And we've brought out these three just for the purposes of this press conference, and we will basically go back and tabulate for all the local governments in the state to show clearly that something is amiss. And it is in the interest of INEC to hold on to not declaring the results for this election until they go through these anomalies, clears the air on our fears and concerns, and then they can go ahead and announce the results. But we can tell you, if INEC does this, the PDP candidate, Aswe Godalo, will be declared the governor of Edo State after these anomalies will have been cleared. Thank you very much. I think you're missing it. We are looking at procedure. We are looking at the principle of declaring results. We are not looking at who got how many votes. If what we are noticing does not rhyme, does not tally with what is supposed to be, that's what we are highlighting. If it affects us, so be it. But what we are saying, we are highlighting the anomalies we have seen in just these three local governments. But as I said, we have all the anomalies across the 18 local governments in the state. So we're not saying do only for where APC supposedly won. I'm saying do across board. Query the BVAS. See how many people got accredited. See how many votes the political parties recorded in those units.